The pandemic has led to many companies around the world continuously recording losses. That's not the case for the National Gas Company. After a loss of $228 million for the first half of last year, the company managed to turn a profit for the corresponding period this year. Tonight in our Energy Matters segment, we speak with NGC President Mark Lokwan.
Energy Matters is brought to you by the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. Energy Matters.
Mr. Lokwan, thank you very much for joining us here on Energy Matters on TV6. Of course, the pandemic has caused a lot of companies to record losses. But this year, earlier this year, the first half of this year, NGC has reported recording a profit of $437 million. Of course, if you can just explain a bit more to the viewers, just exactly how did NGC manage to record this profit?
Okay, good evening and thank you for having me. If you recall, in 2020, during the COVID pandemic, a couple things happened. I mean, there was a major depression in pricing, and prices went as low as, say, $165 per metric ton for ammonia and methanol. And another thing happened, which was the fact that a lot of the products that we make here in Trinidad, they go into areas that would have been impacted during COVID. And a lot of the demand for those products actually fell off. So what you see now in 2021 is a major rebound in prices to the, I would say, range of 2.5 to 3.5 times the low point of 2020. So there's been a rebound in pricing, and there's also been a rebound in terms of some of the demand that would have been affected last year.
Of course, I don't expect you to be a psychic, but seeing that the performance, what you just mentioned just now, do we expect this trend to continue for the rest of this year into next year, or what are the forecasts saying, some of the forecasts at this time saying?
Yeah, I think what you would see is prices remaining fairly robust in 2021. I think you would start to see by the middle of 2022 some returning of prices to what you would call normal type of prices, because the prices in the market now are abnormally high. But I would say that by middle of next year, based on the projections we have, you would start to see that coming back to the more normal pricing that you would see in the market.
And of course, like most businesses around the world, people are putting things in place to ensure things remain viable in their companies. At NGC, what kind of plans or what kind of works you have afoot to ensure that, again, the company it remains viable in these uncertain times with the pandemic affecting the global economy?
Well, in these uncertain times, there's a couple of things that we have been doing. One, of course, is trying to just ensure the foundation of the house is even more solid than before. So that's working on the areas of, I would say, safety, the reliability, asset integrity, and the way how projects are delivered, the use of money, cash flow management, as well as a great use of technology, I would say has been accelerated during the COVID period. And so we're already using things like satellites and artificial intelligence just to tell us how areas around piping and our infrastructure are being encroached and things like that. So we have been applying technology to make it much more reliable. And at the same time, a big part of any energy company now is trying to move to a cleaner energy mix in the future and trying to embed sustainability in the whole company.
Again, of course, anybody just joining us, Mr. Mark Lokwan, the president of NGC. Mr. Lokwan, before we let you go from Energy Matters, any other points you would like to touch on regarding moving ahead with NGC at this time?
Well, I think an important factor is how we transform our whole oil and gas ecosystem now to a greener agenda. And I think that has to be done through a very systematic approach to policy, as well as defining a roadmap, so to speak, in terms of measurement and standards, and focusing on the capability that we have right here in Trinidad and Tobago with several world-class companies.
Mr. Lokran, thank you very much for joining us here on Energy Matters on TV6. We appreciate the time.
Energy Matters was brought to you by the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. Energy Matters.